Okay, now we're going to do the review for section 4-5, and it gives us this equation here, and we're supposed to evaluate the derivative of this at the point 1, 0. So, and of course we're using implicit differentiation. Y is some function of x. We don't know what it is, so off we go. So taking the derivative of the left side, we have e to the y, and then by the chain rule, the derivative of y is y prime. That's the best we can say because we don't know explicitly what y equals. So now taking the derivative of x squared, that's just 2x, and taking the derivative of y squared, we get 2y, and then y prime by the chain rule. So now we'll get all the terms with y prime in them on one side, so we'll subtract 2y, y prime from both sides, and we're left with on the right 2x. Now we'll factor y prime out of each term, e to the y minus 2y equals 2x, and now we'll divide through by this factor, and so we have y prime equals 2x divided by e to the y minus 2y. Now you know this, that e to the 0 equals 1. So now, the reason I say that is because of what we're going to do now. We're going to evaluate this for the ordered pair 1, 0. So every place we see a y, we're going to put a 0. Every place we see an x, we're going to put a 1. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. And replacing y with 0 here, we're going to have e to the 0, and that's just 1, minus. Replacing y with 0, 2 times 0 is 0. And so that equals 2. And we're done. Well, now we're going to do question 2, and we're given this equation, xy minus x minus 4 equals 0. And we're going to evaluate y prime at x equals 2. Well, we need a corresponding y value, so let's find that right now. If x equals 2, then replacing every x with 2 here, we get 2y minus, replacing x with 2, 2 minus 4 equals 0. So 2y minus 6 equals 0. So adding 6 to both sides, 2y equals 6, and dividing through by 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we know what our ordered pair is. xy is going to equal 2, 3. Okay, that task is out of the way. Now, let's use implicit differentiation and find y prime. And in the first case, we've got to use the product rule. So I'll hold y constant and take the derivative of x, but we just get dx, which is 1. Now, plus, hold x constant and take the derivative of y, and we get xy prime. Because y is some function of x, we have no idea what it is, so the best we can say is it's y prime. The derivative of x here is 1, so that's a minus 1. Derivative of negative 4 is 0. So now let's solve for y prime. So xy prime equals, I'll add 1 to both sides and subtract y. And finally, to isolate y prime, we'll divide by x, both sides by x. And so we get y prime equals 1 minus y over x. Now, let's evaluate that for the ordered pair 2, 3. We're going to let x equal 2 and y equal 3. So that's 1 minus 3 over 2 equals minus 2 over 2, which equals minus 1, and we're done.